Welcome to Miss Scarlett. Subscribe and don't miss out on Patreon. Have fun! A pale yellow dawn broke through the shuttered bedroom, its rays striping across the tangled, warm sheets. Isadora groaned as her alarm shrieked from across the room, feeling more like something from the depths of the nethers than her favorite Mozart melody. Isadora flung an arm out from under the covers, blindly reaching for the source of the racket. Feeling around, she made contact with cool ceramic and swept the offending object to the floor. Instantly, the high-pitched screeching stopped. With her eyes still closed, she took a long, slow breath, feeling the previous night's overindulgence. Remember I told you about my spa day with the girls? Well, Amanda just called. Her husband surprised her with tickets to that jazz festival, so she had to cancel. That's too bad, Eric mumbled, pulling the covers higher. His brown hair stuck out in all directions as he tried to burrow back into sleep. The thing is, Diane continued, tugging the blanket down slightly, the package is already paid for, non-refundable. 4 people, full-day treatment. Something in her tone made Eric open one eye. And I was thinking you could use Amanda's spot. You've been working 60-hour weeks for months. Your shoulders are practically permanent fixtures around your ears. Sitting up, Eric ran a hand through his disheveled hair.
You want me to go to a women's spa day?
With your friends. Jennifer and who else? Jennifer, Melissa, and me. It would be fun. They won't mind. They won't mind a guy crashing their girl time? I don't know, Di. Diane's fingers traced light patterns on his arm. Please? It's already paid for. And you really could use the relaxation. You've been so stressed lately. The pleading in her blue eyes was impossible to resist. After 5 years of marriage, Diane knew exactly how to get her way. Fine, Eric sighed, swinging his legs over the edge of the bed. But I'm just doing the massage and maybe the hot tub. None of that other stuff. Diane's smile brightened the room. Perfect! We need to leave in an hour. She kissed his cheek and practically skipped from the room. Eric shuffled to the shower, mentally preparing himself for what would surely be an awkward day. The warm water did little to wash away his apprehension. The spa's entrance was intimidating. All glass and stone with a waterfall feature that somehow managed to look both soothing and pretentious. Eric tugged at the collar of his navy polo shirt, feeling underdressed despite Diane's assurance that casual was fine. Jennifer and Melissa were waiting in the lobby, both wearing yoga pants and loose tops. Their surprised expressions when they spotted Eric confirmed his suspicion that this was a terrible idea. Ladies, I hope you don't mind, Diane began, her arm linked through Eric's. Since Amanda couldn't make it, I thought Eric could use some relaxation. Jennifer recovered first, her red-painted lips curving into a smile. Not at all. Actually, this is perfect. Mark would never agree to try something like this. Melissa nodded enthusiastically, her dark curls bouncing. Tom is the same way. You're brave, Eric. Or just easily manipulated, he joked, earning a playful swat from Diane. A receptionist with impossibly straight posture approached, clipboard in hand. Welcome to Serenity Springs. I see we have the deluxe rejuvenation package for 4 today, Diane confirmed, and the woman handed each of them a form to fill out. Eric skimmed the paper, noting options for different types of massages, facials, and other treatments he had no intention of selecting. Don't worry about filling all that out, Jennifer whispered, leaning toward him. The package includes everything. Just sign at the bottom. With a shrug, Eric scrawled his signature and handed back the clipboard. "Wonderful!" the receptionist beamed. "Please follow me to the changing rooms." The group was led down a hallway decorated with abstract art in calming blues and greens. At the end, the hallway split.
Ladies, the women's changing area is to the right. Sir, the men's area would normally be to the left, but since you're with this group... Eric's eyebrows shot up. I'll go to the men's area. It's fine.
Diane exchanged glances with her friends. "Actually," she said slowly, "since we're doing this as a group, wouldn't it make more sense if Eric stayed with us? Is there a private changing room he could use?" The receptionist hesitated. "We do have a family changing room that's currently vacant." "That's perfect!" Before Eric could protest, he was ushered into a smaller room just off the women's changing area. A plush robe hung on a hook, alongside a pair of disposable slippers. "Change into that and meet us in the relaxation lounge," Diane instructed, closing the door behind her. Staring at the white robe, Eric sighed. He'd already come this far. Stripping down to his boxer briefs, he slipped on the robe and tied it securely. At least it was a generous size that covered everything important. When he emerged, the women were waiting, all wrapped in identical robes. Except they weren't white. "Why is your robe pink?" he asked, looking between the three women. Jennifer giggled. "The white ones are for staff. Guest robes are pink." "There's no men's version?" "Not really," Melissa explained. "They don't get many male clients, I guess." Diane disappeared into the changing room and returned with a folded pink garment. "Here," she said, holding it out. "Trade with me." Eric glanced around nervously. "Here?" "In the changing room, silly. The full experience includes the proper attire." Reluctantly, Eric retreated to the family changing room and switched robes. The pink satin felt uncomfortably smooth against his skin as he emerged once more. "Look at you!" Jennifer cooed. "Pink is definitely your color." Heat rose to Eric's cheeks as a spa attendant approached. "Your first treatment will be the hydrating facial. Please follow me." The facial room contained 4 reclining chairs arranged in a circle. Eric was directed to one while the women took the others. Soon, a team of estheticians entered and began explaining the process. "This isn't so bad," Eric thought as the attendant applied a cool cream to his face. Cucumber slices were placed over his eyes, and he felt himself actually beginning to relax. The gentle music and the faint scent of lavender were soothing. "So, Eric," Jennifer's voice floated across the room.
Diane tells us you've been working on a huge project at the firm. "Yeah,"
he answered, careful not to disturb the cucumber slices.
"The Henderson account. It's finally wrapping up next week."
The conversation flowed easily as the facial continued, and Eric found himself enjoying the company of Diane's friends more than he expected. The facial was followed by a surprisingly pleasant scalp massage that left his hair smelling of sandalwood. "Next," announced the lead attendant, "is the full-body treatment." Eric's relaxation evaporated. "Full body?" "Exfoliation, waxing, and moisture treatment," the woman explained. "If you'll all follow me—" "Waxing?" Eric hissed to Diane as they stood. "I didn't sign up for that." "It's part of the package," she whispered back. "Just do the exfoliation part if you want. No one's going to force you." The treatment rooms were private, which was a small mercy. Eric's attendant, a professional-looking woman in her 40s, explained each step methodically.
"I'll just do the exfoliation.
Eric said firmly.
As you wish. You'll still need to remove your robe for that.
The exfoliation wasn't unpleasant, though having a stranger scrub every inch of his body was not something Eric would have normally chosen. When it came time for the waxing, he was prepared to decline.
We'll start with the chest,
the attendant said, mixing a warm concoction.
Actually, I'm going to skip the waxing part.
The door opened, and Diane poked her head in. How's it going in here? Your husband is a bit hesitant about the waxing, the attendant explained. Diane entered fully, her own robe back in place. Oh, Eric, you have to try it. Jennifer's husband did it once and said it was life-changing. I thought her husband would never do something like this. He didn't come to the spa, but she convinced him to try waxing at home. Come on, be adventurous. For me? Those blue eyes again. Fine, Eric sighed. But just the chest. One area led to another, and somehow Eric found himself agreeing to a full body wax. The pain was considerable, but Diane's encouragement and the attendant's assurances that the results would be worth it kept him going. See? Diane said when it was finally over. Your skin looks amazing! So smooth! Eric had to admit, running his hand over his chest felt oddly satisfying. Different, but not unpleasant. The moisture treatment that followed was heavenly, soothing his tender skin with aloe and shea butter. By the time he put the pink robe back on, he was feeling surprisingly good. Next is lunch, Diane announced when they regrouped. But first we should all freshen up. The group moved to a large vanity area with mirrors and various beauty products laid out. I think we should do something about those nails, Jennifer said, eyeing Eric's hands. They're looking a bit rough. Eric looked down at his blunt, utilitarian nails. What's wrong with them?
Nothing a good manicure can't fix,
Melissa chimed in. It's included in the package. Before he could protest, Eric found himself seated at a manicure station, his hands soaking in warm, fragrant water. The nail technician filed, buffed, and applied a clear coat that made his nails shine. A little color would look nice, Jennifer suggested, studying his hands. Maybe a deep red? It would complement your skin tone.
No way,
Eric laughed.
Clear is as far as I go.
Just try it on one nail, Diane urged.
If you hate it, they can remove it right away.
Somehow, just one nail turned into all 10, a deep burgundy that did indeed look striking against his newly smoothed skin. Eric flexed his fingers, surprised by how much he liked the effect. Time for lunch, announced a spa attendant. Your private dining room is ready. As they stood to follow, Jennifer pulled a large tote bag from under the vanity. Almost forgot! I brought something special for our lunch.
What's that?
Eric asked, suddenly wary. Well, Melissa explained, we always dress up a bit for our spa day lunch. It's tradition.
You didn't mention that part,
Eric said to Diane, who at least had the decency to look slightly guilty. It's just for fun, she assured him. We brought something for you, too. From the bag, Jennifer produced a stunning blue silk dress. This should fit you perfectly. You're about my height.
No, absolutely not.
Eric backed away.
I draw the line at wearing women's clothes.
Diane approached, taking his hands in hers. Eric, no one here knows you. It's just us girls having fun. Please, you've been such a good sport so far. The nail polish was one thing, but a dress? No way. What if we make it worth your while? Diane's voice dropped lower. Remember that thing you've been wanting to try? The one I've been hesitant about? Eric's eyebrows shot up.
You mean?
Yes, that. The women exchanged curious glances as Eric considered.
Fine.
He finally conceded. But no pictures. Jennifer clapped her hands together. Wonderful! Let's get you ready. What followed was a whirlwind of activity. The dress, it turned out, was just the beginning. Melissa produced a makeup bag, while Jennifer pulled out a selection of jewelry. Diane disappeared briefly and returned with a small bag from the spa's boutique.
What's that?
Eric asked suspiciously. Just some undergarments, Diane replied casually. The dress will look better with the right foundation. The foundation turned out to be a set of padded shapewear that gave Eric the illusion of feminine curves. The blue silk dress flowed over them perfectly, ending just above the knee. You have great legs, Jennifer remarked. The waxing really shows them off. Melissa worked on his face, applying foundation, blush, and eye makeup with practiced hands. Your bone structure is actually perfect for this, she commented. High cheekbones, full lips. A wig was produced. Not the cheap Halloween kind, but a high-quality auburn creation that framed his face in soft waves. The transformation was completed with a pair of low heels and a delicate necklace. When they finally let him look in the mirror, Eric froze. The person staring back wasn't him, yet somehow it was. The makeup wasn't garish, but subtle and enhancing. The auburn hair brought out golden flecks in his hazel eyes he'd never noticed before. The dress hugged in all the right places, making him look beautiful. What do you think? Diane asked, softly.
Eric struggled to find words. I don't recognize myself.
You need a name, Jennifer decided. We can't call you Eric like this. Erica? Melissa suggested. Diane studied him thoughtfully. No, something different. Something that captures how you look in that blue dress. She snapped her fingers. Sapphire.
Sapphire,
Eric repeated, testing the name. It felt strange on his lips, now colored a soft pink. Perfect, Jennifer exclaimed. Sapphire, shall we go to lunch? Walking in heels was a challenge, but with Diane's arm linked through his, Eric, now Sapphire, managed to make it to the private dining room without incident. The room was elegant, with a table set for 4 and a view of the spa's gardens. Ladies, the server greeted them, not batting an eye at the group. Today's special is a citrus-glazed salmon with asparagus risotto. Lunch was surreal. Eric found himself falling into a rhythm with the women, laughing at their stories and even sharing a few of his own. The wine helped, as did the genuine acceptance from Diane's friends. You're a natural, Sapphire, Melissa commented as they finished their meal. Some people look awkward when they dress up, but you seem comfortable. It's the confidence, Jennifer agreed. You're owning it. Despite his initial promise of no photos, Eric didn't protest when Diane pulled out her phone. Just one, she pleaded. To remember the day. One became dozens as the women posed with him, capturing the afternoon from every angle. Eric's inhibitions had faded with the wine and the surprising sense of freedom he felt in his new persona. After lunch came the massages, the part Eric had originally been most interested in. Lying on the table, feeling skilled hands work out months of tension, he reflected on the unexpected turn the day had taken.
Your shoulders are indeed in knots,
the masseuse commented. You carry a lot of stress here,
Occupational hazard,
Eric murmured, face pressed into the cushioned opening.
Well, you should make relaxation a regular practice. Perhaps make this spa day a monthly event?
The thought didn't repulse him as it might have that morning. There was something liberating about stepping outside himself, becoming someone else for a day. The massages concluded the formal part of their package, but the women weren't ready to end the day. We should go shopping, Jennifer suggested as they gathered their belongings. Sapphire needs a proper outfit to go home in.
I can't go shopping like this,
Eric protested, though with less conviction than he might have expected. Why not? Melissa asked. You look amazing, and no one would ever know. Diane sensed his hesitation. Just a quick stop at the boutique downstairs. They have some lovely sundresses that would be perfect for summer. Looking at his wife's hopeful expression, Eric couldn't refuse. One store, one dress, then home. The boutique was mercifully quiet, with only a bored-looking saleswoman scrolling on her phone at the counter. She glanced up as they entered, offering a practiced smile. Welcome, ladies. We're having a sale on our spring collection. Let me know if you need any assistance. Being addressed as one of the ladies sent a strange thrill through Eric. The women immediately began pulling dresses from the racks, holding them up for inspection. This one, Jennifer declared, presenting a floral sundress in shades of green and white. It's perfect with your coloring. The dress was simple but elegant, with a fitted bodice and flowing skirt. In the dressing room, Eric slipped it on, surprised by how natural the movement had become. The fabric felt cool against his skin, the cut flattering his newly feminine shape. Let us see! Diane called from outside. Stepping out, Eric was met with appreciative gasps. That's definitely the one, Melissa nodded. You have to get it. Before he could object, Diane was at the register, credit card in hand. Consider it a thank you for being such a good sport today. Leaving the spa felt like stepping into another world. The late afternoon sun cast a golden glow over the parking lot as they walked to Diane's car, Eric now dressed in the new sundress with a light cardigan Jennifer had produced from her seemingly bottomless tote bag. Thank you for today, Jennifer said, hugging him goodbye. It was the most fun we've had at these spa days in ages. Melissa embraced him next. You're welcome to join us any time, Sapphire. The drive home was quiet, Eric lost in thought as he watched the scenery pass. You've been very quiet, Diane finally said, reaching over to touch his hand.
Are you upset about today?
No, Eric replied honestly.
Just processing. It was nothing like I expected.
In a good way?
I think so. It was freeing, in a strange way, being someone else for a day.
Diane smiled, keeping her eyes on the road. You know, you don't have to leave Sapphire at the spa. She could come home with us sometimes. The suggestion hung in the air, tantalizing and a bit frightening. Would you want that?
I might,
Diane answered, her voice soft.
Would you?
Eric looked down at his polished nails, the delicate fabric of the sundress against his smooth legs.
I might too.
1 month later, the alarm blared its familiar wake-up call. This time there was no groan of protest. Instead, a hand with neatly manicured nails, a subtle, clear coat, reached out to silence it. Morning already? Diane mumbled, burrowing deeper under the covers. Spa day, came the cheerful reply. Don't want to be late. Diane cracked open one eye.
You're more excited about these than I am now.
A smile was the only response as feet swung out of bed, padding across to the bathroom. The morning routine had evolved over the past month. Moisturizer, a touch of tinted sunscreen, a swipe of clear lip balm. In the closet, hands hesitated between sections. Today was a spa day, which meant Sapphire would make an appearance. The decision had become easier each time, slipping into a comfortable pair of jeans and a loose navy shirt for the drive, with a garment bag containing the day's outfit hanging ready. Diane appeared in the doorway, still yawning. Jennifer texted, "She's running a few minutes late." "No rush. I made coffee." "You're an angel." Diane wrapped her arms around her spouse's waist, resting her head against a shoulder. "Happy?" The question was becoming a regular check-in, a way of ensuring they were navigating this new territory together. The answer was always the same, but always sincere. "Very happy." The truth was, discovering Sapphire had unlocked something essential. Not just the freedom of expression, but a deeper understanding between them. Diane had embraced the dual nature of her partner with an openness that strengthened their bond. Outside, a car horn honked twice. Jennifer's signal. "Time to go," Diane said, grabbing her bag. "Sapphire's friends are waiting." With a final glance in the mirror, a small nod of approval at the person reflected there, it was time to embrace another day of possibilities. Whether Eric or Sapphire, the essence remained the same, just wrapped in packaging that felt increasingly authentic. The garment bag was carefully laid across the back seat, containing a new dress purchased specifically for today. The auburn wig, now one of several, waited in its box. The transformation would happen at the spa, as always, a ritual that had become sacred in its own way. As they drove toward the now familiar glass and stone entrance, a sense of peace settled in. This was not just about dressing up or playing a role. This was about discovering parts of oneself that had been hidden, allowing them room to breathe and grow. Sapphire was no longer just a name chosen on a whim for a single afternoon. She had become an integral part of life, stepping forward with increasing confidence each time she was invited to appear. And today, as the car pulled into the spa's parking lot, she was ready to shine again. No longer an imposter in borrowed clothes, but a welcome aspect of a more complete self. The auburn hair would catch the light, the new dress would twirl just so, and another piece of the puzzle would fall into place. Whatever came after today was still unwritten. Perhaps Sapphire would venture beyond spa days and shopping trips. Perhaps the boundaries between Eric and Sapphire would blur further, creating something new and authentic. Or perhaps this rhythm would continue, each persona having its time and place. The only certainty was that there was no going back to before. Back to a time when possibilities remained unexplored and parts of the self remained hidden. That door had closed the moment a reluctant husband had stepped into a pink satin robe, beginning a journey that would transform far more than just outward appearance. Today was Sapphire's day. Tomorrow would take care of itself.
Thanks for watching, my girlies! Be sure to check out Patreon for more!